How you going? Currently, I have the place to myself. It's just me and the cat, and the chickens, and the cows, and a lot of wind. It's the wife and the kids are off camping at the moment for a couple of days, so I've got a little bit of a, miniature holiday at home. I've got a couple of jobs around the place. I think I sort of mentioned in a previous clip that I wanted to redo all of this. I've got probably about 4 or 5 hours right now, so I'm going to be interested to see what I can sort of knock out about rejigging all this. And then what else we got? Now, these lovely bits of white fiberglass over here. Now, they are actually my mate's side skirts for a Safiro. One of them fits, the other one doesn't. So what we've done is we've made a cut through on the rear part to try and get it to fit. And we were able to go through and get it to fit. However, that needs to be glassed up. And I did make mention that A, I've got some time coming up, and B, I've got a fiberglassing kit. Now, I've done a little bit before, like a couple of those repairs on the front bumper there. So, might jump into that today, hoping we can. Would like to get that knocked out because, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. If we can get that all glassed up, filled and looking good, we should be able to actually get that painted. And kind of the plan, we'd sort of talk about maybe actually getting the cars and taking them along to a car show. Because, hey, that's what... It's a nice, easy one to get to. Now, not sure if I'm going to be able to make this merry day or not. Not a lot of people are keen. Obviously, probably feeling the pinch with Christmas and everything like that. I would love to be able to do it, but we'll just have to see how we go. Anyway, let's start sorting all this stuff out, and all that stuff, and maybe some of that stuff. Hopefully not that stuff, and maybe some of the stuff down here. Ooh. I'm flaking a bit today though, so don't expect just the time lapse is probably going to probably not going to show it correctly. Anyway, that was a horrible way to sign this off. Yeah, brain's a bit of mush. I've been working my ass off for the last couple of days so I can actually get some time right now, but now I've just gone into marshmallow mode. Alright, let's do this. Make the most of the time. So tidy. Nope. So I've got to figure out what in this I want to throw out, and funnily enough there's actually not a lot. Most of it really is either like material or parts or consumables and tools. So I'm trying to figure out how I do this. So up here seems to be pretty good long-term storage. I still want to go and sort of bridge this gap. Like, yeah, there's a bit of a decent gap there, and I just had that box kind of like floating in space over there. The area here I kind of want to retire as where those containers were going. I want to try and fit them in here. So that's kind of the first thing. I still think keeping the oils and everything up top is a good idea. I do have kids in here. So yeah, I'm not even touching their area at the moment. And I do want to sort of move stuff out of there as well. I may still put containers and stuff in here, like in there I've got an RB20 transmission blowing apart, ready, waiting for a new me to put it back together with a new lay shaft and second gear. Now I kind of think that's probably a better spot for it rather than under here. It does actually limit using this as a workbench sitting on the chair if you can't even get your legs under it. So yeah, it's kind of good because I had like oil up there, oil there, oil there, and I can probably just figure out, you know, what's waste and chuck it in the back of the car for taking. I do have a lot of car parts that, you know, I've got the full aircon set sitting over there as well. It just needs a good going over. However, there are oils that I do take to the track that are very valuable, so might sort of split things up, but man, it was good to give this a good sweep out, man. It was getting insane. There is still all of this on here as well, and my container with all my paint and everything is currently at max place, so this stuff is probably going to have to stay out and just stay in the corner until that comes back. I'm going to have to sort of mentally keep a slot. It's like one of these size containers. Yeah, wind is no joke at the moment. Anywho, right, I think we probably just start with trying to get some of those containers there into there and go from there. Alright, wish me luck. I don't know how I'm going to be able to get like a gigantic square peg into like what is essentially going to be a mouse hole. Right, let's do it. Don't know how this is going to come out because I've currently got a Bluetooth attached to that, so I don't even know if you can hear me, but I'm actually going to build a shelf in there. These were all bumper storage things back when I lived in a brick and tile in Papamoa, and I had those sort of sitting above the bonnet, I think, on that. So the depth is 600, those are 600 wide. Perfect. And my gap between here and here is 82.5, and they're 1.2. So I'm gonna one of those. I've got this bit of, what is it? 1.5 or 1.5? Maybe. Yeah, 1.5 square, which I'll just throw some screws in on the reverse sides of these 4x4s or 2x2s, whatever those things are. And yeah, then I've got a shelf for my electrical and my 1/2 inch set, which I use all the time. So I kind of thought that's good. I may see if I've got kind of like a bits and pieces type thing there, as well as some other like random assorted nuts and bolts, which I tend to use quite a lot as well. So if I can plan that out, if I clear this off and kind of plan it out, here is what it's going to be underneath there, I think we're going to be good. This is kind of the, oh yeah, and then I fit this in here as well, thinking, right, those two are quite snug. There is a little bit of space on the end there that, yeah, kind of feel like it's a bit of wasted space, and I've got to figure out what we're going to put into there as well, whether it's the other two of those or something else. Anyhow, I don't even know if you heard this because, yeah, I don't know whether it's trying to take audio from in there. I don't think it is. And yeah, the reason why I'm having to use mains power out here is because all my batteries are away camping at the moment. So whilst I'm cutting this, I'm using the old method. So wish me luck that I get that straight. Right, so this, what, 3 hours have disappeared. This hasn't changed. But not only do I have one new shelf, I have two new shelves. Grab my hat. So the idea was that because I actually had two of these sheets of ply, and if I'm going to do one, what I found out was these two things, 1/2 inch set, one-handed. I'm going to need a little bit of hand from the right hand as well. Look at that. Love it. And then the electrical kit, bada bang, bada boom. that's kind of that there. So I actually wanted to slide that over because I wanted to put that in there. Boom. But then all my storage is gone. So I thought, all right, let's make another. So when I found one of these long stakes that we have, I've got to lop the stake part off then there. Trimmed it around, so again the ply actually notches around the post, and then goes and is screwed up into the railing. I had to put a spacer in there as well and a spacer in there, but she's solid, which means I can do things like this as well. Like, and this is like I think everyone's got one of these. They're a container of many nuts and bolts, which they use all the time. And I've also managed to find out that this tray will also fit in there too, if I so desire. So that's if I want to put that stuff there. That is at a height where my littlest human will be able to grab things. This one here, this tray here will also fit. However, it has a bunch of bits and pieces in there. Like it's got, I think I've got like 3 sets of snips, if I remember correctly. Maybe not. Anyway, so yeah, might need a little bit of a think on this one. I do kind of like having the stuff up here easy to grab. What are you doing up there? You're supposed to be in here. However, I do like the idea of, okay, maybe if I put that over to there, and then I just have this as a quick pull out, and that one there. And with all sort of like the major things that I use often down one end and the other bits down the other end, that might be a good idea, because I tend to just use like a small flat head, a big flat head, things like the knife, things like that. If I can just chuck all that stuff down one end and like that, like you're getting this in real time. This is how my brain functions. Sweet. So then, boom, I've got those kind of 3 things that I use the most. Right there. Same thing goes with this as well. Like, I tend to use sort of not a lot of these things, if I'm honest. I tend to use those a lot, those a lot, maybe snips. Yeah, see, I do have 3 sets of snips. Like that. Those can go down there for a 4-minute. Okay. Better wrap this quickly. Everyone needs vice grips, but they can go down the other end along with the big chunkies. And Mac is going to bring back my needle nose any day now. So, look at that. Boom. Stuff I need right there. That, I think, is going to work out bloody nicely. So, yeah. And then I got still a little bit of a cubby down there. Doesn't really solve the issues I have right now, but oh well. So, a lot less. Still got the pile of rags. Got to find out a container for that. Hoping to put harnesses, or actually maybe just the donut, and maybe even my race suit and gloves and stuff in there to keep them sealed and clean. This is kind of like the odds and sods pile. I've got a little container down there, or maybe use that. Trying to figure out what to do with that one, and again there's a bunch of odds and sods and stuff that's there. This one here is kind of interior bits and pieces. I'm going to try and condense that down into better containers and into that, and then that one there will slide down there. And now look at this, way better. So pretty happy with this. Been able to fit 2 large containers there. Actually, we had to pull the wheels off them to be able to just fit them underneath there. We've kind of got like performance bits and pieces, car parts there, and then that is both of my steel scrap tall containers combined into one large. That's the other two of those things sideways in there. Don't tend to use those. Put the one on the top there with the spaces and everything. We've got sort of sanding bits and pieces in the background there. And yeah, and then over here we put that gearbox over there with the bell housing on top. We've got that cross member and the old sway bar. These are, this is essentially my next project car pile, or ex-project pile. It's got all the aircon bits and pieces that I want to stick back in there, and then the bits that didn't fit there. Yeah, old clutches there. That's a wiring loom with either ECU cases or ECUs, coil packs, larger steel scraps, car parts that aren't Nissan related, and then yeah, all the oils up the top there. Worked out that I've got a lot of 2050, even 2 unopened containers back there, and then I've actually got an unopened container of GT, what was that one called? This is the stuff that I've always, 15W40, this ultra clean stuff, that is the GTX. That's what I've run in that car since day dot, mainly because you can get it so cheap. And I know it's not a full synthetic, but because I change it so often as well, it doesn't really matter. So, and then yeah, gear oil, and then sort of just random, I've got random 2 ones with sort of like about a couple of litres each in that, and a couple of empties on the end. I've got 3 old ones there that I need to go drop off. And yeah, I mean, it feels so good. Like it's not quite there yet. I reckon maybe an hour or 2 tomorrow and we'll have this buttoned up. But to have all of that under there clear, and that was just chocker beforehand, man, that feels good. Got to empty that bin too. Oh yeah, and I've got to find a home for these larger steel bits. I do have like a pile there of like roofing iron, so I might actually just combine the two. Just thought of that then. But it is now, I've been going on this for probably about 6 hours on essentially just a bacon and egg pie. So I'm pretty hungry. I've got a couple of bits of porterhouse that I've gotten out, and I kind of want to maybe get the sim back together and have a little bit of a play. So might let the boys see what the boys are up to, and hopefully the old Elon lets me have a bit of a play, because I found this. I got this back in the day. I can't even remember who gave this one to me, but it was in lunch money, and I made sure I kept that when I sold it, because who was it that gave me that? Man, I cannot remember, but it was part of the project, and I think it was John Boyce. John, if you're watching, thank you so much. And yeah, I'm going to try and keep that alive with on the sim. If it'll fit the Logitech. If I can spin it off and then just spin that on, man, I'll be so stoked. So, anyways, let's go have some meat. And I think I've got a couple of mushrooms there. I'll chuck that in as well. And then, so I'm just putting these square things down, which are, by the way, amazing. I think I actually saw it when someone was talking about doing like signings or something, and just saying you get a foam mattress, these foam pads to stand on, and it means your heels are actually saved. And I do so much standing at this point in time, so I just thought I'll just throw these three down, and man, that works. I'm so happy with this little shelf. This is something I actually thought about from the time I finished the bench, and now to actually have that and how I want it. But yeah, I'm filthy. Let's go clean myself up, take the extension cord back. I must say, having to use the old power drill, where is it? Down there, I think? The old Makita. Getting that thing out again. Yeah, that Makita that's a wrist snapper, that thing. It was pretty intense to try and do that, and those small gauge screws to get those things in, they were not wanting to play ball. I had to sort of drill a couple of pilot holes or some of that stuff to get all done. I tend to overbuild these kind of things, which is probably a good idea because there is a 1/2 inch socket set in it or whatever. But you know, it'll take some weight, and the bench itself, it's designed to sort of have an engine on it if need be. But man, that is so good. Yep, that's all for me. Need to have a pink gin and lemonade as well. A bit of butter. That's what our grass looks like. And it is turned into cow. Yum, 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 yum. Had to add they're not vegetables, had to add the fungi. You know, to soak up the juices nicely. I like to sear one side, flip, then drop the temp down a little bit, cover, and help get the heat in. These are pretty thick pieces. Gotta love home kill though. God, I'm hungry. Alright, refill has been quiet. Meat has rested. I want to watch some Netflix. And enjoy what is probably going to be my version of... where'd it go? Oh no, it was Amazon Prime that I was watching it. Anyway. Amazon Prime. Anyway. One moment please, caller. Well, that's not great. That was way better. Looks like I'm watching The Great Escape on my phone. Good night, everybody. Sadly, I found out that that isn't threaded, so that doesn't fit on. However, I might actually be able to tap it. So we'll give that a go tomorrow. Yeah, this is the setup. Just using this chair. Let me just jump in here for a second. Just use a USB keyboard for that big hairdryer in the back there. And adapter thanks to Leighton. Thanks for throwing that together. Now I've been trying to recreate how my car feels on track, and funnily enough, that thing still seems the closest to it. I know Wills has tried to, he's done a bang up job replicating what the looks of the car, but I still feel that I'm hunting the right kind of feel to the car. But yeah, the old triple screen. So those are 28s and that's a curved 27. So kind of does a pretty good job. Yeah, go have another jam, I guess. I have no idea how this thing has stayed on. These clamps are the real MVP right now. Whew, wind noise. And with the wind comes a decent amount of hay fever. Just checking the rat trap there. No, didn't get anything there. I think I'm going to have to retire this buddy. Right, what do we got? Let's get this done. Get that done. And start on those things. Yep, garage refresh is done. So all of the stuff here is done. It's gone away. Some of it's there. As you can see, we've got the 3 down the bottom now. Started packing. Obviously, that stuff there is going to go into the crate when I get it back from Mac. Woo-wee! Look at this, I got bench space! Wow. Now, toilet roll, because I am an absolute mess at the moment with hay fever, I have just pushed on through. I wanted to get this done. And these are three things. One, that needs to go back in the car. That needs to go on the car to secure the clutch line, and that is to replace a blown bulb in the back of the car. 3 small jobs. But I'm so stoked with this. There is also another weird little project, this thing here. What I'm going to do is actually run cables out of that and mount it up under here. So going to have it so I can just grab the extension cord and just have a plug sitting here, or maybe even outside. It'd be kind of cool, like a all-weather plug. Boop, plug it in. Shed has power, at least to outlets there. I reckon that'd be pretty cool. As you can see, nothing under there. I did put the bit of that sort of strapping and stuff up under there, but that won't mind. The only things left here are an axle that I need to change the boot on, and then the boots and grease and stuff there. Old batteries. I think the 2 old ones. That one's actually okay. That's one for the ride-on. Whoo, it's hot in here. Up here, we've got all the oils up there. That last slot was just old oil, and actually even found old little premix 2-stroke stuff. Oh, man. Oh. And yeah, this is all filled up now too. And I've tried to label stuff where I can, where it's kind of unknown what you've actually got in there. Yep, all the rags and everything got sorted. What do we got? Small rags, big rags. Yay! Yep, there's another snuff. And over here, I actually had one of the boxes left over, so I chucked the drop sheets under there. Did a couple of other bits and pieces there just for sorting, but got to put the mats back. That wood will tuck under there once the kids' Christmas present is assembled and gone. Wow, just wow, all the space now to work in a nice clean work environment. I'm so stoked. I'm hoping it's going to motivate the kids to come through and tidy up their space. I may have to move the helmet as well, because the kids are probably likely to have a play with it, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter. It's an old one. It's not going to be able to be used on the track anyway. Otherwise I can stick it up there. I've actually got space left over. It's all right, another sniff. So I've also taken a bunch of cardboard out of here. I've emptied the rubbish bins as well, so we are fresh as a daisy. There always is, but it's really just maybe a resort of some of the those ones there, and then those ones there. Just a bit of a resort on them, and that won't take much. But yeah, that was a 2-hour job on the second day, so I think I probably spent 6-7 hours doing this. It was needed though. It was so needed.